in the desert of what's now primarily considered Southwest United States, you have canyons, and up in Wyoming and Utah, there's what's called the Devil's Tower, which the Devil's Tower looks a lot like a protrude cut down tree stump. Could it be? Is it according to Scripture? The Scripture talks about the tree that grew all the way up, that was visible from everywhere, like the one that you have on your Canis Major Army.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I'm not sure if you're saying that they could be exactly the same trees, but it is connected to what I was saying earlier regarding how the trees of nowadays are just branches to the trees that were back in the day, like that one that you just mentioned. Yeah, that was a tree for sure. And there are others like that one. They have found a lot of evidence that the powers that be cut down every evidence and every tree that they could. Um, and those, for instance, they were petrified trees, and that's why they are as they are now. And that one that you mentioned is pretty interesting because there's said that there is alien things going on over there, the Devil's Tower, that they see a lot of UFO activity, and as we know, they are fallen angels. So it is possible that that area is spiritually important, and it could be, but I cannot assure you that that is the one tree in the middle that could be seen from all over the world, like Nebuchadnezzar saw, right? For for once, that wouldn't be the middle of the earth. Um, and the other one, I repeat, there were other trees, and it is written that in Lebanon the trees were huge. So I wouldn't be surprised if there were bigger trees than that one over there, the Devil's Tower. Um, the other thing regarding the canyon, um, I don't know if you also were talking about the Grand Canyon, for instance. Yeah, all right. That one seems to have been created during the flood, and the flood happened after Hanok. So the Grand Canyon would not have been there when Hanok went around seeing everything, according to what we know so far, or regarding what I've read about the flood and how the Grand Canyon came to be. But the Grand Canyon would be a great example to understand those canyons that he was seeing, and perhaps even greater because he said that he couldn't measure them, right? And I haven't been to the Grand Canyon. Would love to be there. I would think that you could see one end to the other, so it would seem to be measurable, right? So I would see the Grand Canyon and the Devil's Tower as just examples of what Hanok was able to see in that reality to which he was taken. I think I have pictures of, yeah, I had some images, but I guess it was easier. But this one is the one that my brother mentioned, but there are a lot of other ones. So this was an actual tree back in the day. And that's just, well, that was not the tree, that was just the beginning of it. It was cut down. And look at this, for instance. Imagine that as a tree all the way up, how big it would be next to these bulls. And obviously, this is way, like way back from where those bulls are. So if the bulls were right next to it, they would look a lot smaller. So yeah, there are a lot more, and I guess I could look for them eventually, or some of them, and then some other things that I'm just thinking of, like those mountains that were supposed to be actual giants that were petrified, and mountains that actually look like petrified giants. So look at this, for instance. Um, that one, like, I guess some of you will notice the shapes, the human shapes, in this case, faces. Another one. And yeah, there are a lot. There are a lot. I don't doubt a few of them could be just what they will call coincidences, which I don't believe in. So they would actually be something at the end. Yeah, what will tell us. I mean, I'm not saying that all of these are petrified giants, but some of them are. Just a matter of looking and these were petrified trees cut down, the ones that I was mentioning. Here are some. And you see, I wrote petrified giants, and then we found petrified trees because they come from the same time after the flood. There are also animals that were petrified. Plus, remember, you see another tree that is called a mountain. And it looks just like a tree. In fact, Golgotha, where Mashiach was sacrificed, Golgotha, which means skull, it said it is believed to have been a skull of a giant that was petrified. So Mashiach was sacrificed on top of a skull, and the tree was right on the skull, which means that Mashiach triumphed over all the giants, evil spirits, demons, fallen angels, etc. An elephant, etc., etc. There are many. Look like how they look from close. Well, as you can see, there are a lot of pictures. So if you look for petrified giants, you'll find a lot.